I'm going to tell you guys a story so you don't have to hear about the horrors of the world happening. You get to hear about my suffering. This is a story about when I went my first ever time to Vegas. And I never traveled before this, really. I've gone places with my family to visit other family, but never on an actual trip. It's a very long story, just as it was a very long trip. So, the way this happened was I had three close friends of mine planning on going to see EVO, the fighting game tournament that was hosted in Vegas. One of these friends kept changing his plans around, so much so that he kind of last minute joined them on this journey. And they often told me if I was going to go and that I should go. And, I just don't have a job that pays me enough. But also, I had stuff that was already going on in my life. I couldn't really go. Well, a week a week before they were scheduled to leave to Vegas, I ran into my friend's mother, the one who kind of joined last minute. And keep in mind, they've been planning this for months. So everything was already set to go, but having to accumulate him was a little bit more difficult. She came in, I was like, hey, is he excited to go? And so on and so forth. We're just going to refer to this friend as Christopher. So Christopher's mother proclaims that he may not be able to go. I ask why. Well, he doesn't have an ID. Or at least it was expired at the time. Now it's a different story. But so on. I then proceeded to ask, like, hey, did you guys know about this? Like a little snitch. And they did not. So they then ask him, and then a whole thing gets sorted out to a point where Chad, I guess the leader of this little excursion to go to Vegas, he then asked me, hey, how about you go? As a joke, right there in front of my own boss. He just said, hey, you should go. The position open. We have a free ticket, free plane ticket. Silly fool. That is a lesson that will come to bite us that same day. Well, mostly him. He's a great friend for that, by the way. She then claims you should go. I will actually let you go. I then proceed to look at her with shock of the fact that I am allowed to get off work. It then becomes an actual thing where we are deciding, hey, if Christopher can't go, then you will go with us. I then say, okay, very, very last minute. I am talking 4 days away from going on this trip. Literally 4 days. But, anyways, they then find out that, yeah, no, he's not able to go. I am now able to go. The day before they leave. Well, Chad goes to buy the stuff from Christopher. All basically his Evo ticket, his plane ticket, anything that he paid for him to go on the trip for, he bought it. He got it from him and gave it to me. The day that we are scheduled to leave, the day of, I get a phone call very early saying from Chad, hey, big problem. I need your help. I'm like, okay, what is it? I need some of your information. I said, why? Because I need to buy you a plane ticket. You can't just obviously grab someone's plane ticket and use it for yourself. That is on their information, their ID or whatever. So I am now giving him other stuff. He pays $1,000. $1,000 for me to be able to go on this trip. He then tells me how much he spent. And I feel so guilty. I feel so bad. I'm like, oh my God, he just spent $1,000 on me just to go on this trip. But he then proclaims, like, yeah, no, I was thinking about not letting you go, but I felt bad. I already had you do everything with your job, etc. I just said, screw it. It's Vegas, let's go. The last words anybody has ever said every time they go to Vegas. Keep in mind, this trip was 2 years ago, so this is just me really living trauma. So, as I am astonished by the sheer kindness of this man, we then proceed to go. We go to the airport, we catch our flights, we're off to Dallas. We're in the Dallas airport. Everything's going well. We're still on our way to Vegas, even though this trip has already been cursed from the beginning. What with one of them not being able to go, having to buy a very expensive last minute plane ticket for me to be able to even go. But Vegas, baby, we're all ready to go. Who cares? As long as we get there, we're going to have a great time. Bullshit. Well, we're a little bit delayed at Dallas, but there's no big deal. We're supposed to be landing in Vegas by 1 p.m. We didn't land in Vegas till 7 p.m. later that day. Why? Well, as we then proceed to get in the air and go to Vegas, and as we are about to land in Vegas, our pilot informs us, because we keep saying, hey, we haven't landed. We should have landed a long time ago, because he said, hey, welcome to Vegas an hour ago. So as we're there waiting to land, we're wondering, hey, what's going on? Our pilot informs us, hey guys, I see clouds. I don't think I'll be able to land for a while until they clear out. All right, that's all right. We're looking out the window. There's not a single cloud in Vegas, anywhere. There's not a single cloud in the air. It is blue sky. You can see the reflection of the ocean. Nothing. But who are we to say? We are not trained pilots, and he was doing his job as he should have. We are circling Vegas. Circling. I can see it in circles. For an hour and 20 minutes, we were circling Vegas. I have very bad motion sickness. It was killing me. The plane was hot. There was like these tiny little like peepholes where the AC comes out, I guess. Did not work. Everybody's getting very restless and tired. I then try and lighten the mood by making a joke. I say, man, with how long we've been in the air circling, we're going to go. Watch him say, hey guys, I ran out of gas. 20 minutes later, I eat my own words. The pilot comes on the intercom and curses us by saying, hey guys, sorry about this, but we're going to have to divert to a different airport. Not only because the weather isn't clearing up, there's nothing in the air, but I'm running out of gas. So we're going to have to go land in So we then have to go to a cursed hellscape on earth known as Phoenix, Arizona. We go 45 minutes to land in Phoenix. We finally land in Phoenix to refuel. The crew and pilot angrily tell us, hey, do not leave this plane as we're refueling, or we will leave you and we will not care. Straightforward, completely understand, we'll stay on board. About like 40 minutes pass, we're like, huh. They come back and they say, hey guys, you guys can leave the plane if you want. You guys can go grab food, refreshments, or relieve yourself if you need to. At this point, the plane is hot. They just have it off. So obviously, we want to get off and get some stuff. People try and leave the plane as they instructed us to do so. As we try to, we have an angry ticket lady waiting at the end saying, if you leave this plane, we have to check everything again, as if you are trying to do everything all over again. So a lot of us just don't want to do it. So we're like, no, we'll just stay on the plane. So we stay on the plane for another 25 to 30 minutes or so. It gets to the point where the people tell us they come back. A whole different crew comes back and says, hey, you guys are going to need to exit the plane because it is getting too hot to leave you all here for your safety. Not only that, your pilot left you. What? Yeah, the pilot and crew just left. They just left. There's no explanation. They just said, hey, guys, also your pilot left. He just dipped. He just called it a day and decided to move there. He's done. His career was done in that day. So the pilot leaving and the crew abandoning ship, we're left for them to tell us, hey, we're going to have to find you a new pilot, a new crew, and try and get you guys out of here when we can. So we're tired and groggy. Like, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Let's go outside the airport and wait. Well, at least in the airport by the food court. We're all waiting there. There's just so many passengers that are tired, groggy, because, they just didn't get to their destination on time. But that's fine. You can still play that off. We're still trying fun. We're already miserable, but we're trying to keep light spirits. So we get some refreshments and food to try and calm ourselves and relax. We're waiting for so long, another hour and a half, until they finally bring a new pilot. And I will admit, the second that this new pilot walked through the crowd of people, when I shit you not, that people were physically cheering and hugging each other because they saw their savior. There were people cheering, are so overjoyed. This man is waving. He had more of an introduction than LeBron himself. This man was gonna get us there. He is waving, Cheers are following him as he gets into the plane. Now they tell us, hey guys, we're going to have to now get you guys seated back on there, sections A through C, the whole ordeal. And I will bring that up, by the way, later on in the story, how this seating section fucks us over on our way back home. So after a long wait of being able to get back on the plane, the pilot announces, hey guys, I obviously heard that there was bad weather in Vegas. I don't see anything wrong there, so I'm going to get you guys there. This man reels back this plane and he guns it in the air. So he's going and we land in Vegas, finally. After an entire excruciating day, days of stress, we're finally at our destination. We became family on that plane. We all bonded through our shared grief, pain, potential heat stroke, and hatred for Phoenix, Arizona. We landed. I mean, there was people holding each other. People became friends on that plane that day. We became family. After we land, we're obviously exhausted, tired, but we're still in high spirits because guess what? We have made it to Vegas. Now it's time to make it to checkout. We have barely any time to get to checkout at our hotel and get our tickets at Evo. We get an Uber. Everything's looking much better. We get to the hotel. They managed to get me in the room with them. We're all good. We go to walk towards where the event center is being held. We go. And as we're waiting in line, finally at Evo, there's so much that happens between these takes, by the way. But if I was to tell you the whole story, we would be here for hours on end. We walk all the way to where this event center is at in the heat, but we're there. After we get there, we're waiting in line to get our tickets. And then my friend Chad proceeds to say, hey, this is the QR code to get his ticket. All you got to do is show it to them. They'll give you the pass. We're all good to go. We're like, all right, great. As I'm about to get to the lady at the counter, I look at a sign that says must present IDs and valid so on. Basically to say that this is your ticket. I look at that and I look at him. I'm like, hey. And he nods as an agreement like, that's going to be a problem. So he tries to tell the lady, hey, this is what happened. Our original friend couldn't come here, so we brought him. Is there any way we can get a ticket? As he's trying to explain what the situation is, the woman just slowly gets the sign and shows him must present valid ID, etc. And he's just like, okay. So obviously I can't use the guy's ticket. I have to buy a whole new 3-day pass. So we go over there to where they're giving the rest of the passes at. They proceed to, they're like, hey, how much money would it be for a 3-day pass for this guy right here? They say $350. Oh, or $250. So now we have my other friend who has been with us throughout this whole journey, Marshall. That is the name I will give him, Marshall. He decides, hey, you already spent money to get the plane ticket for him. I'm now going to spend to get you here. These two men have been keeping me alive this whole trip. For no reason. They're just out of the kindness of their hearts. They're like, here's some money. Go buy the pass. Understandable. I go. The guy immediately says, we don't take cash here. We need card. I turn around to say, they only take card. And he's like, damn it. All right. I'll buy using my credit card. He buys it with his card. That slaps him in the ass. So we finally got the tickets. We're already battered and beaten. They're broke. One spent $1,000. Another one spent nearly $500 with my passes and something else he was doing for us the whole day. So they're exhausted. We walk all the way to the hotel. But I tell them, guys, we are starving. All we have had is a cup of water and complimentary pretzels on the plane here. So I tell them, hey, we should go eat somewhere. I found a nice restaurant nearby. It's cheap. It's affordable, at least for us. Let's do this. And they're very hesitant, but they're like, you know what? Yeah, sure. We're starving. Why not? So we walk there. We get to the restaurant. We get seated. The waiter brings us a pitcher of water that we guzzle down as if it was the fountain of youth. So after we finally get fluids in our system. We then say to ourselves, we need alcohol. We need to drown our sorrows of this day. This first day that has already been this long. Surely it can't get worse. We say that. But we drink. Our food is finally delivered. That food was the greatest tasting meal we have ever had in our lives. I bet that thing was so average and basic, but in that moment, it was the best meal we could have had. We were starving. It was 1 in the morning at this point. This is an entire day. So after we eat, Chad somehow gets energy in his system. It's like he drank a damn Red Bull. He then says, hey, we should go get some our basically like shampoo and stuff at the nearby Target that I went to last time I came to Evo. I understand. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I don't mind. Oh, we feel better now. We've drank water, we've eaten, and now we have booze in our system. So we then walk. We're walking the strip of Vegas, having a good time, looking at the scenery, taking pictures, watching fellow nerds get scammed by women and lingerie because they think they fell in love. As we're walking, I start to notice, we've been walking for 40 minutes. How far are we going? So I then ask him, hey man, we already passed 3 Walgreens going to this Target. Why don't we just stop there? He's like, no, I want the specific one. I am exhausted at this point. I tell him, where is this Target? He then points, it's on the other side of the Vegas Strip. We were at the complete opposite end. This man is taking us to the other side of Vegas itself for the specific Target that's closed. So after I proceed to tell him that I wish to squeeze the life out of him, but I proceeded not to because obviously he got me here in the first place. So I give my thanks. And we just decided to turn around and go to the Walgreens, the 15 Walgreens that we passed by on the way there. So we stop at one of them, they get their stuff, and we're walking all the way back. It is so hot. Our clothes have welded to our skin through the sweat and heat that is Vegas. But after the most cardio we've ever gotten in our lives, we finally received back to our hotel room, our air-conditioned hotel room, and we crash out. We don't even remember how. We just went to sleep. We wake up the next morning feeling better, hopeful of the day, and we go. We go to Evo, experience the event itself, have a great time, got to meet a lot of people. Dad lost at pools, did good, tried his best, but he got destroyed at pools. I proceed to drown my sorrows a little bit at the mini bar that they created there in Evo. I go up to the bartender and I say, hey man, hey, what's the strongest drink you have? He looks at me like I actually just lost pools myself. He looks at me like, damn, I don't know. And I don't even know what he gave me. He just gave me something. Could have been a Long Island iced tea. I drink it. I look over at Chad and Marshall. Marshall was watching Chad get his absolute lights kicked out on Tekken. That's great. Mortal Kombat did a lot better. Still got his lights kicked out. He patted him on the back and took him to the bar. That's the first day of Evo. Oh, no, technically the first and second. I kind of leaked some from the second day. After a nice long day of kind of being out at the event center, we were there from like the second it opened all the way to the afternoon. Like we didn't really go in Vegas. We were mostly at Evo. Get a nice bottle of wine at the hotel. We go eat, have a good time. The next day appears. Chad loses again in pools. Chad is not having a good time. He's the one who got us here, and he's having the worst time here so far. The second day was whenever they actually started doing the finals tournaments for everything that started happening. The arena was so packed that they had to have a limit because there was so many people trying to pile in. I'm always having a good time in Evo, and I am enjoying the event and just having an overall pleasant experience. But I want to explore Vegas. I want to look around. I mean, that's why I also came here. So I proceed to leave Chad and Marshall there. I go to try the nearby restaurants, pastries, and just try and look as much before the heat stroke eventually does get to me. I'm having a good time. I call them. They're doing good. Starving, malnourished, and tired, but they're doing good. They bonded in there. They hadn't had a single drop of food or water since we woke up. But after Evo was all said and done, after mountains of money was spent, and by mountains I say credit cards and debit cards, Vegas does not take a single dollar there at all. They do not take a single dollar. They will spit in your face if you suggest cash, cold, hard cash. They will spit in your face. Nowhere in Vegas would they take cash. Everywhere was card, card, card. I went to a mom and pop shop to get a souvenir. They didn't even take cash. They took card. There is not a single location in Vegas that will want to take cash from you. And that is actually what hit us so hard financially, is all of us took a lot of cash with us, as well as some in our cards, in our banking account. But we couldn't use any cash because no one took cash. But I digress. After we experienced Vegas, and I will admit, I make this trip sound awful, but I genuinely enjoyed spending time with my friends, going on a trip with them, as hellish as it was, so on. I did have fun. There was times where we just had a nice meal at a restaurant, got to talk, and that was just all fun. That was all cool. We got to walk the strip the last day. That was nice. Got to see it, and that was all sweet. I almost got kidnapped. Some stripper tried to grab me and taking me into it was a guy, but we're not gonna get into that. But now time has come for us to return home. We're packing up. We're ready to go. We go through TSA in Vegas, which is hell, and we get on the plane. However, I couldn't put my luggage, my carry-on at least, with me this time on the plane. Now. Remember when I told you guys A through C seating? So since Chad bought me a last-minute plane ticket, I was put in the very last group to board the plane from home and back. So, I can't bring my carry-on because every aisle is full. I am the last one to board the plane, literally the physical last person to board. I then find this as a problem because they have to take my luggage under the plane, meaning when we land, it's gonna have to go through the baggage. I have to go outside of TSA to grab it. So as we land back in Dallas, they tell me, hey, you're gonna have to go outside of TSA and grab your bag. Our flight is connecting. We have like 10 minutes. I freak out. There's a good chance we're gonna have to stay in Dallas. So I run to go get my luggage. I managed to get it as I'm waiting in TSA. Chad calls me saying, hey man, we might have to just stay here, try and tough it out. I don't know, we'll find a way to do it. I say, fuck that. I have to get back home. Why? Because I have work that same day. Well, the time comes. I have my Snorlax hat on, my Snorlax shirt, my little shorts. I'm 5'6", by the way, so I look like a toddler. Also, fully shaven, so I definitely look like a 5-year-old boy. I tap the shoulder of a man. I basically say, hey, sir, me and my family are going to be stranded here. If I don't get through TSA, I need to go. Our flight is connecting. They took my bag. And the man completely is like, let this man through. He helps me get through all the way to the front. I cut in line. Bless that man's soul, because he got me home. I'm sorry I lied to you. I get through. I shove my bag into TSA. I literally throw it into their machine. I kick off my shoes. I have them pat me down or rub me down as long as I get through. As they do it, I don't even check if I left anything. I grab my luggage and I haul ass. As I'm running through the gate, Chad is directing me, saying where to go and how to get there. I see them flagging me down at the gate, and we make it just in time. We don't care where we sit. We don't care how we sit. We just get on the plane. We're all separate, but we don't care because we're getting home. And we get on there, and we take our last breath thing. We made it. We make it back home. Barely. That's another stuff. But the moral of the story is, next time you want to plan a trip, make sure everyone is on board. You don't pay for anybody. You let them pay for all their stuff. But even if you do that, make sure not only do you sit together, but everybody is on board with everything you're doing. And if you go to Vegas, do not take cash, take card. Make sure you guys are well organized. Everybody knows what the plan is, and you stay safe out there. And fuck Phoenix.